Welcome back to the Observable Unknown. Pressure has a terrible reputation. People speak about it as though it were an interruption, an intrusion, something unnatural imposed upon an otherwise stable life. It's not. Pressure is one of the oldest conditions of existence. It's biological, psychological, social, civilizational. Nothing alive can escape it. What matters is not whether pressure arrives. Instead, we should look to what the system does when pressure arrives. Because pressure itself doesn't create structure, it reveals the structure that's already present. At Stanford University, Robert Sapolsky spent decades studying stress physiology, particularly among baboons in East Africa. Not in labs, first in hierarchies. In real environments, and what his work revealed was unsettling, to say the least. Stress isn't merely about danger, it's about uncertainty. It's about the lack of control, instability of a position, or prolonged vigilance. A body under pressure doesn't simply react to threat, it reorganizes around anticipation. That distinction is a profoundly important one, because many people believe they're responding to the moment they're in. The truth is they're not. They're responding to the pressure they expect. At the University of Pennsylvania, Peter Sterling developed the concept of allostasis, not balance through stillness, balance through adaptation. The human nervous system isn't designed to remain static. It adjusts continuously to demand. Heart rate, hormones, attention, emotional readiness. The body predicts pressure before pressure fully arrives, and over time, those predictions become architecture. This is the foundation beneath what I explore in Action and Strain. People often believe strain comes purely from effort. It doesn't. Strain emerges when a system attempts to carry a load. It hasn't been structured to carry efficiently. Two people can face the same pressure. One stabilizes, one fractures. The difference is rarely the pressure itself. It's the condition of the structure beneath it. This is where people become confused. They tend to think that pressure changes character. It very rarely does. Pressure, more often than not, exposes the organization that's already there. A controlled person under strain becomes more precise. A chaotic person becomes more fragmented. A resentful person becomes cruel. A disciplined person becomes focused. Compression magnifies pattern. It doesn't invent it. This is why crises feel revealing, because they strip away surplus behaviors. Politeness thins, performance weakens, delay collapses, and underneath it all, the actual structure emerges. Not the identity someone advertises, but instead the identity their nervous system has rehearsed. You can see this in relationships, in illness, in leadership, in financial stress. A person may speak beautifully about loyalty for 20 years, then pressure arrives, and suddenly you discover whether loyalty was principle or mood. Civilizations, sadly, obey the same rule. Under abundance, almost any system appears functional. Pressure is diagnostic. Scarcity reveals coherence. Instability reveals corruption, and constraint illustrates dependency. This is why decline often becomes visible only after compression begins, not because the weakness is new, but because the pressure finally became sufficient to expose it. There's another mistake most humans make. They imagine the goal is a life without pressure. That fantasy destroys people. Muscle without resistance atrophies inevitably. Attention without challenge diffuses rapidly. Systems without demand become fragile and ultimately useless. The absence of pressure doesn't create peace. It often creates weakness disguised as comfort. This doesn't mean all pressure is good. Chronic, unrelenting pressure without recovery destabilizes any organism. Sapolsky demonstrated this very clearly. Systems require oscillation, compression, and release. Adaptation. Without recovery, pressure ceases to refine structure. It begins degrading it. So the question is not whether your life contains pressure. It already does. It's actually A much simpler question. When compression arrives, what does it reveal? If this landed with you, recognize it by leaving a rating and a review, not for validation but for signal, so it can find those who it's meant to instruct. Until next time, remember, you don't become what you feel, you become what you return to, and what you return to returns as you.